What's up, everybody? This is Team B with your host Brandon, along with me, Bill Mack here, and this is Team B Presents, and we hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of TeamB Wrestling Show. In this episode, we're going to do our WrestleMania 32 predictions. People say, well, they dropped the number. It's not 32. But, hey, if you watch the advertisements, it says WrestleMania 32. But no, we're just doing it so you know which one we're talking about. Anyway, it's this Sunday. A lot of matches on the card. Might be the weakest build-up of any WrestleMania, but I think the matches are going to deliver. I think so. But while you're here, friends, why don't you hit that subscribe and like button if you like us. If you don't like us, hit like anyway, and 100 subscribers. But no, seriously, we appreciate it. You know, we like grass, you know, so throw some water on us. Help us grow in the YouTube universe. And we do this every week, and we don't want you guys to miss an episode. So subscribe and follow along with us in the wasteland of the YouTube universe. Shit. We appreciate it. And we're kind of similar to Don, Tony, Kevin Castle, Solid Monster, Wrestling Soup, them kind of guys. NoDQ.com, Aaron Riff, you know, we're kind of similar to those guys. So if you like them, I believe you might like us as well.
Oh, yeah.
No Welcome, troll comments, whatever. Just don't dox us or anything like that. We're good. Don't try to shut our stream down, our channels down, try to flag us, nothing like that. We're good.
Right. Don't report us. Don't block us. Don't do any of those negative things. Just hit that like button, subscribe button. Yes, sir. We got a Raw is set for this upcoming Sunday. Like you said, it's WrestleMania 32. It's live from Arlington, Texas at the AT&T Stadium, and it's a place with the home of the Dallas Cowboys, aka Jerry's World. It's basically 100,000. It's the biggest stadium that's in the NFL. It holds up to 100,000 people, and I think WWE has already surpassed their attendance in already in the record. And I think they're trying to make a last push to try to get it fully sold out. Get that whole 100,000 set up, but you look when they have to set the stadium up and the stage up. That's probably going to take some away. But I think they've already surpassed the attendance record that they did in the Silverdome and back in the WrestleMania 3. So it's a poor lineup, like you said. I agree with you. We start with.
I said it was weak, and I don't think it's poor.
I think it's poor. I think it's poor. Just from the quality of how they set it up, and I think the matches. Don't get me wrong. I'm not critiquing the matches themselves, because I think when they do the matches be the best that they can be. I just mean the substance of which they were built on, and previous shows you and I've talked about in our Team B wrestling show. We talk about how they've been poorly set up because most of our top stars are injured and what they've had to use. So I just hope it's I hope it's a good pay-per-view. But I'm thinking the matches themselves, everybody's going to do their best. So I'm positive that performance-wise, it's going to be a good pay-per-view, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, did you want to start off with the kickoff show and a few matches that we actually have a few matches on the kickoff show this year rather than
just pick a random match.
Okay. Match we'll say is the tag team match between the Usos and the Dudley Boys. Dudley Boys, to me, I think the Usos will go over. Dudley Boys are just here to put over these newer, younger teams and give them a good rub. Dudley Boys are aggressive, but I seem to think that the Usos probably, to me, are going to come out on top on this.
That's a pre-show match, right?
Right.
Well, I'm thinking since it's a pre-show match, I think Dudley Boys might win this one to keep them strong for the next match, for the rubber match. So I'm going to go with the Dudley Boys just because it's a pre-show match.
Okay.
So pick another random match.
All right. Up next, we have the U.S. title match, which I mentioned earlier, was a little shocking to me. But the U.S. match that they've been trying to build up with Kalisto versus Ryback, and it's been a pretty good feud, decent feud. I mean, you've seen Ryback be the stronger of the two, of course, and Kalisto's like the Rey Mysterio part, which we refer to him as Rey Mysterio 2.0. But I think somewhere that Ryback may be in line for a push, so I'm actually going to choose Ryback to defeat Kalisto, only because I've got some stirrings. I think that they're mentioning Ryback possibly getting some kind of single push after WrestleMania. So for my pick, I'm going to choose Kalisto losing to Ryback, and Ryback being the new U.S. champion.
I guess I agree with you here, because I feel like if Ryback doesn't win, they're really, that's over for him. That's like career suicide. If they drop the ball with him so much, and they got to be careful with Ryback here. So, yeah, maybe Ryback gets the victory here. But I see Kalisto pulling off the upset. But if they do that, like I said, it's going to hurt Ryback too much. So maybe they'll have Ryback win. I haven't been a fan of this match because I feel like that should have been the multi-man match where they could have had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens go one-on-one.
Right.
But anyway, I agree with you. I think Ryback going to squash him.
I'll be going to feed him more. Up next is the great Total Divas, which consists of Paige, Brie Bella, which will sadly be her last match after WrestleMania. She's retiring. Natalya, Alicia Fox, and the ever fluorescent red Eva Marie against Bad and Blonde, which Emma, Lana, Naomi, Tamina, and Summer Rae. And I'll let you make first. You make your first opinion on this.
I guess, Team Bella, Brie Mode, whatever team she's on is going to win because it's her last match, and they probably want to go out on top. I see her winning this one.
Yeah. This feud, really, it's not really one that's I've cared too much for. I mean, I'd rather see a diva or a tag team have a feud rather than having this many, because it's like taking food to Thanksgiving, but then having a truck come up and back up another trunk load full of food and dumping it on top of what you got. It's just too much, And to me, I just think this feud, I like you said, I'm going to have to agree with you. I think that Total Divas will win because you've got a pretty good you've got your good wrestlers in like Paige and Natalya and Alicia Fox and them, and you kind of got, Brie and Eva on one side, then you got Tamina and, Naomi can fight. Lana, I don't know. Emma, they say, is pretty good. Summer Rae, which, Summer Rae is Summer Rae. So my decision is I'll choose Team Total Divas to win this match. And last, but definitely not least, to close out the hopefully not to close out the WrestleMania kickoff show, is the annual Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And Bulla, who is your pick? Who do you think is going to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal?
Well, if I'm thinking Bray Wyatt's going to win if he's in the match. I heard he was. So the Wyatts, one of the Wyatts, I guess.
Well, yeah, right on target with you, man. I believe that I think Braun Strowman is going to pull it out. He's a big guy. I don't see Big Show getting it again.
Nah,
I don't see Mark Henry unless – now, Mark Henry may be a dark horse, no pun intended, to me, to win it because he has a chance, but, too, is he's retiring, too. So he's a dark horse in the fact that he may come out of nowhere and win it because he's in Texas. But my opinion is I feel like Braun Strowman is going to win because – he's a big guy, and I think too, he's supposed to get a push as well. And now with Harper out for 5-6 months, they're going to have to do something with the big man. And I think a big push in singles would be a great deal for him to do this. And I think this would actually be good for people to remember this big man and adding this to his accomplishments. So while we're in the same category, you're thinking it's a Wyatt and the Wyatt family. I'm gonna choose Braun Strowman to win with Mark Henry potential being the dark horse since it is his last match. So that does it for the kickoff show, and we dig right into the fat, juicy, meaty part of the WrestleMania 32 main show. Right off the top of the bat, folks, in case you didn't know, they have taken the tag team championship match off of the pay-per-view, and which is kind of odd. But if I'm looking into it, I'm thinking they're going to do something for maybe one of the main events or something later on. Just call me crazy, but for them to pull a tag team title match the week before WrestleMania, it might be something to do with the ending of it. It may. Now, it may not be, but it's just odd that they would pull the tag titles because they're always defended one way or the other at WrestleMania. It's one of their main titles. So right off the bat, that was what is happening. Okay, Bullet, first matchup, sir. You get first digs into it. Is the Intercontinental match, what you were talking about, just last commented on. You have Kevin Owens, he's versus Sami Zayn, versus Stardust, versus The Miz, versus Dolph Ziggler, versus Zack Ryder, versus Sin Cara. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of jumping and stuff. So who do you what's your opinion on that?
Well, I would say Sami Zayn's going to walk away with the title to continue to feud with Kevin Owens so they can have their rubber match. But I'm thinking some other titles might change hands, so I'm going to play it safe and think Kevin Owens is going to leave WrestleMania still your Intercontinental Champion.
I like that, man. I like that. Well, you know, man, and I agree with you. It's odd enough. We talk a lot, but I mean, actually, I agree. I think I agree with you on your analysis on this. It would be good to see Sami Zayn defeat Kevin Owens and win it so that they can feud. You know, even if Kevin was to lose at the same time, it'd be okay because I don't want to see Ziggler and the rest of them get the title anymore. They've all had their chances. And like you said, Zack Ryder and them was just last minute to throw in because Neville got hurt a few weeks back. But I agree with you. I'd love to see Sami Zayn, but just in my heart, me being a Kevin Owens fan, that I think he's probably going to end up walking away with the with the Intercontinental title. So I'm right on board with you. I'm the same choice. I make the same.
Yeah, because they're going to have probably other title changes that night, and baby faces go over. So they're probably going to play it safe and just have KO walk out with his title.
Mm-hmm. So, well, it's good announce on that. I really believe myself in that. So up next we have and just to say, folks, there are going to be appearances. I didn't mention that. I'm sorry, didn't mean to forget that. But there are going to be many appearances tonight during the pay-per-view, such as through The Rock, such as Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, and I'm surprised, probably a bunch of surprises to come in. So hopefully something's going to play. All those guys in there, from what I read earlier, The Rock may be just doing some backstage stuff. From what I was reading is what his is probably going to be. So it might not be anything dealing with a match. But what I was reading is it could be a bunch of backstage, like when he was on Raw last time. Remember on the last time on Raw, he was back there with the big show and all that. That's probably yeah. They're saying probably something like that. But I'm anxious to see what Stone Cold's going to do. I know Cena's not going to do nothing, until he gets healed. So then you got Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley, which Shawn Michaels, if anything, dude, you might want to watch out for the Triple H match, because they're buddy still. And Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania has always had some kind of inkling when it's come to Triple H at WrestleMania. So you might want to watch that up. But, I just hope so. We have some good appearances and actually do involvement in some of the matches would make it a little bit better, at least in my opinion.
Bill the Booker.
Yeah.
Bill the Booker.
So, up next, folks, we have go ahead and get this one out of the way. We have the Divas Championship match. And I don't mean that sound bad, just means it's between a triple threat, WWE's favorite type of match. It's got your champion, Charlotte, versus Becky Lynch versus Snoop Dogg's cousin,
Sasha Banks.
And Bullet, who you got on this one, bud? What's your analysis on this match?
Well, the same as before. I think Charlotte's going to walk away with the title.
Mm.
I think so. I think she's going to cheat and keep it somehow. I just don't see Becky Lynch win the title and woo-woo the fans or Sasha. They ain't done too much with her. I'm just going to go with Charlotte on this one. What about you?
Well, I think the opposite. I think that Flair has been helping her to win lately, and I just feel like this time her luck is going to run out. And I think I'm going to actually choose my girl, Becky Lynch, in this one. Like you said, with Sasha Banks, they ain't really been doing a lot. And like I said in our, if people remember in our TeamB show, we talked basically about how, Becky Lynch has been pushed here lately. And really, like you said, Sasha hadn't been much on television. And I don't know if it's not because they've lost interest in her. It's just, I guess Becky Lynch has been kind of more appealing in her matches lately. So I'm going to just go on a limb. And I'm going to say this is an upset. I'm going to say Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte for the title. And because I think Ric Flair's helped her cheat enough to win. And I kind of think this it ain't going to keep going on. Something's going to happen until she loses that title. And I'm just going to say Becky Lynch will end up with the upset here over Charlotte. Okay, folks, up next has been a match that has been back and forth on both Raw and SmackDown. It's been the only feud that this guy has had since he joined WWE from last month, and it is the phenomenal AJ Styles against Y2J Chris Jericho. Bullet, have at it.
Oh, I've heard of AJ Styles. He had a career in Japan, and he had a 12-year career in that Florida promotion too.
Yeah,
that I heard of.
Yes, we'll never hear.
Yeah, the one they never talk about. Got Chris Jericho calling him a rookie still. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be similar to when Jericho's just back to put people over. So this is Jericho's project, and he's trying to get AJ Styles over more so. So AJ Styles is going to defeat Chris Jericho, and it's going to be brutal, I think.
Yeah, I think
that's what I say. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match, and AJ Styles going to come out the winner, man. Just like Chris Jericho Fandango. He put Fandango over.
You see where he put over what happened to Fandango's career after Jericho put him over.
Yeah, he's good. He just needs a different gimmick. That's all. Because he's a good talent, good wrestler. Right. He just needs a different gimmick. Yeah, AJ Styles all the way in this one, man. All that training experience he has from that Florida promotion. Gonna kill it, man.
Yeah.
He's gonna say the gay community. The gay Oh man.
It is though, man. I tell you, it's just funny because they were talking about his age. He's like in 30s, his mid-30s.
With a 16-year-old boy haircut.
Yeah, with a 16-year-old boy haircut, he can pull that off, man. And that was the sad thing. You see, the women in wrestling can't hit that 30s mark. They kind of get older. Barflies is what they were referenced to. Yeah,
men age better than women,
Which is a tough thing, but like I said, that's when they get older like that, especially females that kind of get ready to go and leave.
Yeah, but them females, they still got it easier than we do. Because we in our 30s and we ain't got nothing. Exactly.
But they're pushing Jericho. I mean, pushing AJ Styles. And he's mid-30s when he started. It's kind of like DDP when he started. DDP didn't hit big until he was like 34, 35 years old.
It don't matter, man, because people don't really think of age when they see AJ Styles. He's still young looking, and
exactly.
Back in the day, you had wrestlers in their 30s and 40s all the time. So as long as he's not looking old like The Undertaker, go for it. You can get a good 10 years out of him if they really push for it.
Man.
Like Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels wrestled till he was almost 50. They just got that type of body. They don't look old. They're lean. They're flexible. And AJ Styles does DDP yoga, so he's not going anywhere. I mean, he can handle it, I think.
Well,
what are you going to ask me?
Ask you your vast knowledge of WWE. Have they ever been historically known I know WCW and NWA have. They always wrestled. Vern Gagne back in AWA, God, he was in his 60s when he wrestled. But has WWE historically, have they been pretty decent about guys being to at least around not 60s, but have they been known pretty well to have wrestlers wrestle in their 50s and so on a continuous basis over the years, or is it just recent that they've tried to do that, or what? How have they been?
Like 30s and 40s, man. Like I was saying, 30s and 40s. They try to focus on younger talent, but I think if you have a young mind for the business and you happen to be older, like Batista's case, he started out when he was I don't know if he was 40, but he was close to 40 when he started out. He had an old body, but a new brain a fresh brain for the business. He was young and in wrestling years as far as like knowing the psychology and stuff like that. So it depends. Yeah. I mean, they'll work with it. They try to focus on younger guys. Yeah. But sometimes they just don't have a younger talent. And that was the case with Batista and AJ Styles here. They make the exception for certain talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I was just making sure.
They're more worried about the guy being played out on TV itself, rather than the age. Like, you look at Undertaker and other part-timers, like, man, I'm so tired of seeing them. They're played out. But AJ Styles' case, he's not been on WWE TV that much to be sick of them, so he can kind of get away with it,
Yeah, and then it's who you are, too, because you look at Sting. Sting's 57.
Yeah, but he hides it, the makeup and
so he gets
stuff
hit
like
that. But okay, well, that's good. And I agree with you. Once again, I agree that Chris Jericho's just there to put over AJ, and I think AJ is phenomenal. So I'm going same side with you and choose AJ Styles to win at WrestleMania. Up next, we have a match here. This is one of our 3 main events for tonight, or at the pay-per-view, excuse me. We have one of the first ones we'll do is we'll start with the Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar match in a no-holds-barred street fight. So, Bullet, you want to give your opinion on your choice?
Yeah, I think Brock Lesnar is going to win this match, but he'll barely win the match, and it'll make Dean Ambrose look real strong. And I know they kind of dropped the ball with Dean Ambrose not winning a lot of big-time matches, but I just don't – with Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker and taking a streak a couple of years ago, they're saving it for something real special. Now, I mean, Dean Ambrose can pull up the upset, but I'm just going to stick to just be realistic here and just say that it's all propaganda, and Brock's going to walk away the winner because, it's supposed to be originally Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. So, and they just kind of threw this together. But that was a good thing. I mean, this is a better match and everything. And I like to see Dean Ambrose win, but I just think it's too soon for Dean Ambrose. He's just not a mega star to me, a big main eventer yet. But if he did win, it'd be a major push for him. I just say have Brock win, but barely win, and then put Dean Ambrose in a program with Triple H or something, and let him do real well for the next few months or something to kind of make up for them losses. Because if he loses another match after this, it's going to get the Bray Wyatt treatment. So, but just being realistic, I just think Brock's going to walk away because they got that streak, man. He's not going to lose it unless it makes a lot of sense. He's not. Because what else they're going to do with Brock Lesnar if he loses? Because the only thing they have for Brock is, hey, he defeated the streak. And, he's the one that defeated the one. And somebody beats him, it's just going to, Undertaker probably wouldn't be too happy about it either. Like, hey, I gave him the streak. And he's going to lose it a couple of years later. That's the key thing. A couple of years later, I just don't see it happening just yet. It's going to be a couple more years before he loses. Put somebody over. But what do you think?
Well, I think you and I had this kind of discussion when we did our TeamB show last time, and I kind of got a difference of opinion, but I agree with your analogy. I think maybe the only way that they're going to let Brock lose is if Bray interferes. This is a no-hold-barred street fight, so there's no disqualification to it. And I don't realistically, as much as I like Dean, I know Dean doesn't have the, like Cena matched up against Brock because Cena is muscular. Roman Reigns is muscular. Dean is not into that. Dean isn't that physical specimen that match up with Brock. Brock is really, really rough and really, really raw. And I feel like that this match is going to work itself in Dean's favor because whereas, because it's funny because like you say, a big man, and you can't beat him hand to hand, you're going to pick up something, try to hit him with it. Well, look what this match is.
Yeah, that's believable. Yeah, that's what Shane should be doing with Undertaker.
Exactly. But in this, and as you see, Dean is outweighed and out. Brock is by far the strongest. To me, one of the strongest guys in WWE. And having him Dean face against him, this kind of match works more out to Dean's favor than if it was a basic match. This is a no holds barred where this isn't for Brock's benefit. Brock doesn't have to have anything to beat Dean Ambrose with. He can just crush him. But this is more in Dean's kitchen to where Dean can use these obstacles, and Dean has used these obstacles, and you've seen these hardcore legends over the last few weeks with Mick Foley, with Terry Funk. You've seen them come out there and give them hardcore stuff. Hence, you're having the match just falling in Dean's favor. But so I'm going to think that if for this to happen, that for Dean to defeat Brock is if the Wyatt somehow interfere in this match and Dean gets to win. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to choose the upset of the males and say that Dean is going to defeat Brock, but only because he has help from interference, not because of him doing it himself. Because while he could beat him down with this stuff, Brock is still strong, and I think that even when Brock may beat each other's brains out, Wyatt goes in there, causes a problem, Dean can end up catching a quick win. So my only difference, and this is probably the only difference you and I will have in short picks, because so far we picked the same ones, is I think Dean will win, but I think it's just because it's only going to help Brock feud with Bray Wyatt when this is over with, since Bray has been hurt. I think by the time Bray gets to feeling better, he and Brock will end up feuding. But it's not even saying when Brock is supposed to leave you, because Brock hadn't taken a break in a while. So who's to say when he leaves, Bray Wyatt will be his feud if he comes back. Of course, I don't know if you have read anywhere. Have you read anywhere that's stating if Brock is going to leave again anytime soon? Because I haven't seen it, and he normally doesn't stay wrestle full time. Yeah,
he usually leaves and comes back around SummerSlam time. Mm-hmm. That's what he did last year when they wrote him off TV.
So there you go. So I think that Bray Wyatt, something will happen with Brock. He'll go out and he'll be gone for a while, but when he comes back, when Bray gets healed up, and then he'll feud with Bray. But I just think somewhere the Bray may interfere, or the Wyatts may interfere in the match to cause Brock to lose the match. So that's just my opinion. But as far as
I think like the next night on Raw, Brock Lesnar will cut a victory promo, and the Wyatt family interrupt him and crucify him and take him off camera, and that'd be their way of writing him off camera. Then he'll come back around SummerSlam time. Brock versus the Wyatt family. I mean, I can see that. I can see what you're saying too, but just I can see that.
Because I feel like in a straight up match, that like I would agree with you 100%. I feel like he would barely beat him like Triple H.
But that's the beauty of it, because who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about it, because it gets you thinking. I mean, that's why I said some of the storylines are good that we've seen, and this is one of our best storylines of the pay-per-view. So, okay, so we sum it up. Bullabee chooses Brock, right, and I'm choosing Dean and Ambrose by upset due to interference. So, the second of our main events is we're going to do this one. We're going to say the WWE World Title. We're going to end out with Vince and Shane, the Shane and Undertaker match to end it out. But this match is for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You have Triple H against Roman Reigns for the WWE title. Bullets, you want to start this off?
That was kind of tricky. I mean, I think Roman Reigns is going to pull off the upset here and win the title and have everybody booing, but it really depends on how – I don't know. I think it's going to be the last match on the card. If it's not, then I think Roman Reigns might win the title, and then you go into the Shane McMahon-Undertaker match. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say Triple H sneaks away. Well, I don't know, because if Triple H sneaks away with a title, he can have a rematch with Roman Reigns next month. But I'm going to go ahead and just say Roman Reigns is going to defeat Triple H.
Right. Well, that's good. That's a good analogy. This has been, to me, if it had been for the fans, I think this has been a good rivalry. I don't know what you think. I feel
Well, yeah, I think it's been pretty decent. But, see, Roman Reigns was supposed to win the title last year at WrestleMania. And then on that Sunday, they changed it and said, no, Brock's going to keep the title. And I don't think they're going to do that twice. So I see Roman Reigns just getting the title here. He's going to get it because they did this last year. He was supposed to get it and he didn't. So I just see him getting the title this year, especially if the match doesn't go on last. I see him getting the title here. But I could see like HBK trying to interfere on Triple H's behalf, but he accidentally super kicks Triple H or something. Because you got The Rock and Shawn Michaels there, so I don't know how they're going to tie in, if any, for that match. So, but I'm just going to say Roman Reigns gets it.
Yeah, that's an odd point to put in there too, is The Rock. Because remember, last year it looked like it was going to be The Rock and Ronda Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie at this WrestleMania, but they never hinted to it, and nobody really said anything about The Rock and Triple H. Maybe, I read, like I said, and when we done. Mentioned earlier that The Rock was probably going to do basically backstage stuff. If they were to happen for the Rock to deal with this, maybe this might be the start of having a Rock versus Triple H, because The Rock, they want to have another one. They want to have another match, and both of them are still in prime condition to put on a good match. At least I feel like. I mean, The Rock trains hard, and Triple H. He's still going to train hard because he's going to be like Vince until he gets in his 70s. He ain't going to stop working out. He ain't going to stop training to be like he was, So maybe something with Brock The Rock in this match may happen with it. But and two is it is Roman Reigns and it is his quote unquote cousin.
Yeah, no more cousins than we are.
Yeah, WWE pushes that fact, but they're not real cousins.
Yeah,
but I think with me it's been a good feud. The fans hadn't really have booed the piss out of Roman, but I think with the storyline with Triple H, they've done a good storyline to it. If it had been like somebody else, like Daniel Bryan or some other guy that gets over with the crowd, I think that it would have got a lot more response than what it has. But I just feel like because the fans' hatred of Roman Reigns, I feel like that Triple H and him have had a really good feud. I've enjoyed the feud. I just hate seeing that it's going down because of the idiotic fans on the way they're acting. But I do see that the feud itself has been really good. I mean, I like the back and forth. And Triple H has treated Roman like he's one of the Rock and Stone Cold, in the fact that Triple H is taking some beatings too. Triple H ain't used to, Triple H ain't, the Triple H now, he don't sit there and let people take beatings like that down from people like that. But if you've watched Roman Reigns and him the last month or two, dude, or even more, he's been getting his butt kicked, and you ain't seen that since like back when he was wrestling Stone Cold and The Rock, because they really want to get Roman over and give him that main event feel. And I feel it. I mean, I know he's not at Cena's level with crowd, but I think his position in the company is getting behind on Cena's toes. I think he's right at Cena's toes now where he's at because of how he's being treated with Triple H. And that's a big thing, because I read earlier Triple H was talking about Roman Reigns and how the crowd is and how it affects him. And, he said Roman Reigns is a good guy, and this was off, this is off camera. This weren't, this was just an interview. But he was like, he's a great guy behind the scenes, work it out, do whatever you need for him to do. And I'm like you said as well, part of that, him getting a title is because he didn't get it last year. And I think that that Roman is the passing the torch from Triple H to Roman. Cena's already got it, but Cena don't want to get a torch to nobody else. So I think Triple H is kind of letting it to Roman and giving Roman that free will like Cena has. And I think that Roman's going to end up getting it as well. I'm agreeing with you. I just think that he's going to go ahead and to give more into it because, Roman deserves it. Roman's been through a lot of crap, but I too, and you and I have discussed this as well. The X factor in this is if Roman Reigns was to turn heel, either WrestleMania or the Raw after. That could be a factor as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. But
I know
the Royal Rumble. Echo. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's gone. The Rumble, when Triple H won the Royal Rumble match and he became the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, I said, man, I do not care about Roman Reigns and Triple H in the main event. I do not care. But these past few weeks with the storyline and them fighting backstage and they booking Roman Reigns like a badass, he waiting backstage and stuff, I actually care about this match and I'm looking forward to it. The way they built this storyline up for WrestleMania in the past few weeks, man, that really got me interested. Triple H has done a lot for this storyline. And when he smashed Roman Reigns' head on the title belt this past Monday, I was like, man, I'm looking forward to this match now. They really done a lot with it. So I care about it.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said it's reminiscent of back when the wrestlers were on equal footing, like The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H and The Rock. They all were on that even level, so there was a give and take. One could get beat down one week, one beat down the other the next week, one get the best one week best. And I think this is where that storyline has gotten is they both been on equal footing. I don't see where Triple H really has been over dominating on Roman Reigns in this feud. And Triple H has always known, you and I know this, he's always been overbearing on his and his matches and his feuds. Like look at the Ziggler match and look at the Ambrose match. Ambrose and him were pretty good. I think that was a pretty good little feud.
He just needed some wins going into WrestleMania. That's all that was.
Exactly. But I think that was a decent little feud. Triple H was overbearing, but you look at the whole Dolph Ziggler thing, he just flat out. I mean, I'm like,
but that's Ziggler's job to lose. Yeah,
which is sad because he could do so much better, so much more. He cuts good promos. He's starting to promo work, and if that's his only chance, and you have to take them chances when you got him. That's why he does it backstage and why he's good, because if he knows that's his only way of getting on TV is when he gets interviewed, then he's got to do the best promos that he can do. So I agree with you though, man. I believe that through this time that Roman Reigns will be the champion. I'm hoping that he'll turn heel at some point. I'm waiting for something to happen for him to turn heel, and I think it will happen, man. I mean, closer now, I don't think it'll be another pay-per-view or two before he does it. I just think the crowd's going to get worse, and they're going to just really be have no choice but to turn him heel, because you see Daniel Bryan, they didn't have no choice but to give him the title because the fans were so much on him. So I think hopefully he can be the top guy and be a heel if they want him to be. There's been a lot of them that's been like that. It's been heels and the top guy.
Yeah, I just don't know how they're going to write it in there, but you can have him face Dean Ambrose at Extreme Rules, and that'll get people booing him. And there was some conspiracy theories out there that Vince McMahon and Shane and Roman Reigns would gang up and beat down Triple H, and Vince and Shane would embrace Roman Reigns, and because Triple H is the stepson and all that other crap. Yeah. But I don't see that either, because there ain't no way Shane's turning heel anytime soon. But I mean, that was one way that they could do it.
I heard that too.
Yeah, Aaron Riff was talking about this, and I don't see that. But I think they're just gonna play it safe with with Reigns here, and I don't think it's been that bad the past few weeks. People give him a chance, and it ain't been that bad.
No, I don't see. I'm with you in this, dude. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that he's going to go and after all this build-up turn heel. Vince is going to turn, and Shane are going to turn together on Triple H because there's been no problems with Triple H for him to have any conflict with Triple H for him to turn heel on Triple H. They might be interacting because Triple H has spent all his time dealing with Roman Reigns. And even in this feud where Vince is fighting for control over Raw, Triple H is the COO. He's not even involved in this. So I'm with you. I don't see how they can have just Roman Reigns turn heel and buddy up with Vince against Triple H. Now, I could see what you're saying, and I mean, that could be a possibility, but it's one I don't see happening as much because it wouldn't make any sense storyline-wise to do that because they've not put nothing into it to make it a substance of it being something that potentially could happen. Like you said, I think that the Roman Reigns, for him turning heel, will be something he has to do at WrestleMania in order for it to have any impact. And I think I wrote in the Aaron Riff, he actually answered my question on his show the other day. I think it was number 779, I believe. But he actually answered my question. I'd seen him on Twitter, and it was about that with The Rock. You know, I was asking him, hey, if The Rock somehow involved with the main event and Reigns was somehow lose or The Rock tries to console him or something, he turns on The Rock, he could be a heel that way and turn heel that way. And
that was you that sent the question in for that?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, I have to rewatch that.
Yeah, I think it's 779. It was one of the most recent ones the last day or two.
It's like 20 minutes long, right?
Yeah. But it's like one of the first 2 or 3 questions, I think. But
okay.
While that could happen,
this one comes from Bill Mack 3.
I know he said Bill Mack, and I was like, because see, I didn't even think he'd done my. I didn't remember. I told you it was he liked my that question on the night on the 21st of this month. That was 9 days ago. I was like, he must not go. He likes the question, but he must ain't going to use it. And then I was sitting here going through research and stuff.
You use it when it ties into other questions.
Yeah, and see, I thought he was already past it. And so when I was sitting here doing some research on wrestling, and I heard him say, "This comes from Bill Mack." I was like, "What?" And I had to turn on there, and he answered. I was like, "Good, that's 2 questions that he's answered of mine." But yeah, man, I tell you, it's just been something else with this match. But I'm hoping that I know that Reigns will probably win. I just think that somehow he's got to turn heel and turn heel quick. And why not do it on the biggest stage when everybody's watching? To me, would be a good reason to do that. Okay, and that all leads us to, folks, our very last match tonight. Hopefully, this will be the one that will be ending the pay-per-view. We still don't know which one will end the pay-per-view yet, but we're going to use this one as being the last one, which makes sense because this is involving the control of Raw. And it has we have Shane McMahon in one corner, and he is going against the Dead Man, The Undertaker, in a Hell in a Cell match. And this is going to be one for control of if Shane wins, Shane gets control of Raw and basically WWE. He didn't mention SmackDown. He just said Raw and WWE. But if Vince, if Undertaker wins, which by mentioning Vince McMahon will be in Undertaker's corner, if Undertaker wins, then the box that Shane is withholding all that information with Vince on Vince Shane will have to turn it over everything over to Vince. So and plus two, Vince and Shane won't be back in I guess WWE after that. So that's basically what it is, and so we see that's what's going to happen. So I'll let you get first stab at it. You can give me your opinion on what you think is going to happen.
This is a tough one, but I'm just going to play it safe here because I'm going to think back to the night this match was announced. And I'm going to say, well, there's no way Shane McMahon's going to win this match. This is all propaganda, get you to buy into the storyline because Shane you know, he's a part-timer. I mean, he's not going to stay after WrestleMania. But then you hear him saying in interviews that he's negotiating staying after WrestleMania. So you really don't know. I don't see The Undertaker taking another loss at Mania. But the way they're booking him, kind of like heelish, and him losing to Brock Lesnar the last couple of times, I could see Undertaker losing. But if Taker loses, he's not going to really have that much build up for next year when he comes. Not that much credibility next year when he comes back. So, but Shane has cut so many promos where you would almost get your heart broke if he didn't win. You know, can't let the fans down. And Undertaker said on Raw, "This will not be my last WrestleMania," and the crowd cheers. And then when Shane says, "I'm going to take control over Raw and bring new things," and the crowd cheers. You're like, okay, they're kind of confused. So they don't want Undertaker to retire, but they don't want Shane to lose. So it's trippy. I like to see Shane win this because it's going to make everybody exciting and all this other stuff, and especially. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if this match goes on before the title match, I could see Undertaker winning, and people will be kind of upset about that. Then they get the ending with Roman Reigns walking out with the title. So, I mean, I don't know. But if this is the last match on the card, I could see Shane McMahon winning this match to have a happy ending and get you to tune in to Raw. But I think there's going to be some kind of fucked finish here, and Undertaker's going to win, I think. You know, because the way they keep adding stipulations at the last minute, and they didn't talk about his career ending until the end of this storyline, towards the end rather. And it's just, I just think they're just adding this to make you think that, oh, Taker don't have a chance. But I just think Undertaker's going to win. There's going to be some controversy though in this match. You know, whether it be Vince McMahon coming out there or whatever the case, something's going to happen. I think the plan all along was for Undertaker to win, but they saw how much the fans are happy that Shane's back, that they could possibly change the outcome or have Undertaker barely win, then have Shane still on Raw wanting a rematch or something. I see Shane coming back to Raw again in some kind of role, but I'm just going to have to go with the Undertaker here. Being realistic, just from that first promo they had, I was like, okay, there ain't no way Taker's gonna lose again at Mania. And then Vince at the last couple of weeks ago was like, well, if Taker loses, it'll be his last WrestleMania. I'm like, yeah, okay. So, really buying it.
Right, I understand that.
My choice, Undertaker.
All right. Well, see,
I like for Shane to win, though. I like for Shane to win.
Right.
Actually, I would, because see what happens here. And I'm so jealous of Shane McMahon being 47 and getting in such awesome shape where his neck's bigger than his head and he's got a six-pack. I'm like, dude, and he still can't hit an elbow. But, man, I wish I had a body like that in 4 weeks. Man,
a little bit.
He's on the rocks diet or something. Man, he can get all the pussy he wants, man. I wish I looked like that. And he got more gray hairs than Vince McMahon. Go figure. You know,
I know, man. He's something, but yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with about everything you're saying. The thing which sticks out with me is he said this was Undertaker's last WrestleMania. Didn't say this would be Undertaker's last match.
Well, hold on now. Yeah, you're right there, but I don't think he was really thinking about his choice of words there, because Baron Saxton on Raw this past Monday night on commentary said Undertaker is never going to wrestle again if he doesn't win this match. So I don't know if Vince they kind of corrected it there. I think they did. I think they corrected it there, because Saxton said Undertaker don't win, this will be his last match ever. That's what he said on commentary. I think he was correcting Vince from the week before. I just think Vince he just didn't really clarify what he was saying.
No, see, because
Taker don't really wrestle on the B pay-per-views. But I get what people say. I think people just read into what Vince said a little too much there. I could be wrong, but I mean, I don't, you know. But
see, that's going to confuse me, because my answer is depending on those choice of words.
Yeah,
I feel like
you could be right. I mean, another thing is, if Taker loses, this is what I thought last week. I said, well, shit, I said, if Undertaker loses, Shane McMahon could just reinstate him the next night, right? Because it was nothing personal. Like, hey, you guys want to see Undertaker next year? I'll hire his ass back. But them getting in that fist fight this past Monday night, I don't see Shane McMahon saying, well, hell, I'll just reinstate the Undertaker. I don't see that happening because it's kind of personal now with Taker calling him a he-bitch and calling him a rich boy and stuff. I don't see Shane giving him a second chance over that stipulation, overriding that stipulation. I don't see that now. I don't see it because of what happened on Raw. I'm like, okay, it's getting personal. So I don't see Shane bringing Taker back. So, you know, Vince might have.
Think of this. Now, what you just said, I'll just look this up. It says here that the latest stipulation would be that a loss for the dead man will make this his last WrestleMania. And then it says down here, Vince McMahon announced that the Undertaker lost to WrestleMania. It will be his last match at the marquee event ever. That could be the stipulation at WrestleMania because what is Undertaker known for? WrestleMania. So he is telling the Undertaker not his last match ever, but his last WrestleMania ever, because that's what the last 5 to 10 years, that's what's been Undertaker's legacy, has been WrestleMania. Not his career, but his WrestleMania is what people have talked about. His streak, not about his career. And whenever Vince chooses this is supposed to fire up the Undertaker more, because Vince said, if you don't win this match, this will be your last WrestleMania. So that's supposed to give Undertaker fire, because that's what the Undertaker really has been known for, is WrestleMania and the streak, not his career. So that's what they're saying is it's involving his WrestleMania. He can still lose WrestleMania and still wrestle on other shows. He just won't be able to perform at WrestleMania. That's what's supposed to be the driving force to make the Undertaker more fired up, because if Undertaker don't win, he can't. His marquee event he really is known for, he won't be able to wrestle on it anymore. That's like taking a college team and saying, hey, if you lose this basketball game, if you ever make it to the finals, you're not going to be able to play in that game. And that's when they've been known for. Then they can work all the way up, but when that finals comes, they can't play it. And they're pissed off because they can't play it because they lost the earlier game. That's what Vince is doing with this Undertaker deal. It's not his last match ever. It's just his last WrestleMania ever. So he can still wrestle on the side ones like he did against Brock or a network special. He just can't do WrestleMania. So that's why I said there is some leeway. While I grant what you said, him losing two WrestleManias, and he's already lost the streak and everything, but they did give some leeway because he said it's your last WrestleMania, not your last match. Because I think the last match would have a even more extreme, intense situation to it. So that's the way he worded it. He worded it Raw and WWE, basically WWE is what he said. Raw and basically WWE. That wasn't saying the whole WWE. It didn't say SmackDown. It's their wording and what you listen to. And that's what he was saying. So Byron Saxton must have misunderstood what he was saying if he thinks that it was his last match ever. It's not that. It would just be that.
Well, I don't know. You got Vince in his ear, so he might have just corrected what he was saying.
But this is what I was reading. It was just posted.
Yeah, I mean, you could go either way, but Undertaker had a really good career, and after his good career, he already had a Hall of Fame career, in my opinion. Then when he became part-time, it was all about WrestleMania and the streak. Okay, so when he lost the streak, all he has left to put on the line is his career. That's what makes it interesting. I said this before. I said, keep Undertaker at Mania, but just put his career on the line. Next time he loses, no more Undertaker. That's just the way I'll do it. But I don't see Undertaker coming back at like SummerSlam and being like, well, he said I couldn't perform at WrestleMania, but I'm performing at SummerSlam. I mean, that could happen, but logically, but I just don't see Undertaker saying it. Rest in peace. I'll be at SummerSlam because Vince said I can't be at WrestleMania. He never said I can't be at the other pay-per-view.
Well, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's how bad that it's set up, man. That's what they've done.
It's just poor writing. It's just poor writing. You know, I just don't see Undertaker coming out there being Mr. Smart Aleck about it. Like, well, you said it was my last WrestleMania, but not last Extreme Rules or SummerSlam or Survivor Series. You didn't say that now.
I know, but that's what they would. WWE always technical that way. You always say loser leaves Raw match. They didn't say loser couldn't go to SmackDown. They just said loser leaves Raw.
Yeah, but Undertaker, he's so washed up, man.
But I'm thinking, I'm going to pull for Shane. But my pick is I'm going to go for Shane for the upset. I'm going to go for Shane.
I hope he win. I hope Shane wins.
I think it'll boil down to that.
I want Shane to win, but I'm just going to say, play it safe or whatever and just say Undertaker walks out with this one because I see Undertaker wrestling next year at Mania because they need that star power, And this stipulation was added at the last minute. So I like to see Shane win. That'd be a good feel-good moment. You see it in the replays and future WrestleManias, the WrestleMania moment. And he may very well win the match. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just going to go with my logic here and just say Undertaker walks out, with it, gets it, but barely gets it, some kind of fuck finish or something. Like I see Vince McMahon doing the X Factor on Shane and Rikishi, ass move on Shane, and then Undertaker tombstone Shane into the mat. Vince was doing the suck it thing, suck it taunt. Yeah, I screwed you good, Shane, and then Shane comes back around SummerSlam. You ain't seen the last of me yet. I love to see Shane and Triple H have a feud. So maybe Shane loses and then comes back in a few months and says, hey, I want some of that Triple H. I'm the real son or whatever. I like to see a Shane Triple H feud there come out somehow. I like to see that, But if Shane wins and takes control of Raw and Triple H is still the champion, what does he do? So it really depends on who wins the match before the main event. If Roman Reigns don't walk out with the title, you might see Shane win the match, or I don't know. They got to have a feel-good moment in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
What you think about Shane McMahon and Triple H feud about who's the real son or whatever, or who's the real inheritant of this legacy?
The only thing I think is that Shane and Triple H had some real heat behind them, especially that's why Shane left the company. When Vince chose to let Stephanie and Triple H basically have run of things, Shane got upset and Shane left. I think Shane did this out of the goodness of his heart to be that part of something. I'm like you. Maybe they'll end up losing and just go back to what he was doing because I myself haven't seen anything that he is going to stay. Nothing that he's not even, last I read, he wasn't even part of the company. So to me, I'm picking Shane to win, but two is I don't see Shane fitting in anywhere with the end of it because he's not going to leave his job and what he's doing. I think he just came along to help them unless somebody told me that unless he wins and designates somebody to run Raw for him while he's not there, and comes back once in a while instead of being an honorary character after all. I wouldn't mind. I've seen Shane, back maybe 7-8 years ago, maybe he could continue hanging on, but unless this was some sort of match to down maybe 8 months down the road where him and Triple H go for fighting for. The only way I see that happening is if they have Shane wins, they have a brand split, and Triple H is running on SmackDown, and he wants to take control of Raw, and him versus Shane. I could see that happening, but I don't see that not being a stipulation. I don't see to me, in my opinion, a Triple H Shane match happening unless it's something on that accord, and I don't see that but further down the road because I think if Shane
around SummerSlam time or something,
because they said I did read that they are making new logos for Raw and SmackDown, and they do have some trucks and stuff that have like Roman Reigns is on SmackDown and he's got a bunch of people with him, and then John Cena is on Raw, and it's got some people with him, kind of like they did before. So they may have a brand split with that. So they're going to try to market that, which means, you know, they'll end up bringing back the world title back and having another draft and stuff. But I just see that as being the case, man. That's why I think it's going to go on. But I don't see right now of a Shane Triple H in case it was sort of something dealing with that match. That's the only way I could see that happening is if Triple H, if Shane wins, Shane will be the head of Raw. Triple H will be the head of SmackDown. They'll have a draft because Triple H, and I know SmackDown has been given the redheaded stepchild treatment, but I think that if Triple H was to be head of Raw or head of SmackDown, I feel like with both shows being on USA Network, USA is not going to tolerate these 1.5s and stuff that SmackDown's doing. I think with them being on prime time as well on USA, they're going to want both shows to do pretty good, at least in my opinion. So I don't see a Shane versus Triple H unless it's something dealing with the brands and combining together. So we'll see how that goes.
I think Shane versus Triple H is the money match for WrestleMania. Not WrestleMania, but Triple H and Shane SummerSlam. I think that would be a good money match right there. No pun intended. But they'll write it in there somehow. But you know, that's just speculation. But I think that's definitely a good feud they got right there. Triple H and Shane down the road somewhere, maybe SummerSlam. But the brand split, I don't see the brand split happening. The roster's too weak right now. I mean, if they do it, I hope. I mean, I saw that picture of the roster, you know, guys being on different rosters and whatnot picture too. But I mean, that could have been photoshopped. I mean, I don't see it happening, but I ain't got nothing against it. I mean, if they had like a legit brand split, and that way they can focus on, you know, bringing up some you know, pushing some talent there, because that's the only thing I miss about the brand split. Like, you would have people coming up, you know, winning the World Heavyweight title that you wouldn't see on Raw and things like that. You know, like Alberto Del Rio was, you know, a SmackDown champion for a long time. Kevin Owens could have been the SmackDown champion for a long time, the face of SmackDown, if you will. You know,
right?
It can go either way.
Yeah,
I just feel like they got to do that Triple H Shane McMahon match sometime. That's a money match right there, I think.
Yeah, if it was to happen, I could see it being pretty decent. I don't, you know, I mean, Triple H is way more athletic, and Undertaker is kind of Shane's pace because Shane ain't as fast unless Shane. But Shane, like I said, we did our
Shane's gotten pretty big past few weeks, you know.
Well, it's like, yeah, exactly.
He can come out there and just be a street fight.
Yeah, Shane needs to. Shane definitely needs to really, you know, he looked winded. Like I said, when he got on the top ropes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
For him to handle a whole match, he'd have to be a lot. His stamina has to be a lot better.
Well, you know, Triple H will make him look good in a match too. Triple H will make him look good.
Yeah, because Triple H is gonna have to slow down and help. The Undertaker is slow as Shane, so he can do that. But the Undertaker, but Triple H really would have to slow the action down and stuff for that to happen.
Yeah, that's true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our WrestleMania predictions. I'm going for Undertaker that match, not because I want him to win. I just feel like that's how it's going to conclude there. But and you're pulling for you guessing Shane's going, predicting Shane's going. I think
somehow he'll pull it out. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, you have anything else you want to add?
No, I just hope that it's a great pay-per-view, man. I look forward to watching it.
Yeah, the action will be good. The action will be real good. You know.
Yeah, and I hope everyone likes our reviews. So we'll probably end up doing a review show after next week after the pay-per-view goes
We're going to do a massive WrestleMania post show right after WrestleMania. Fuck Don Tony Wrestling Soup. Check us out live right after WrestleMania. Then you can catch Wrestling Soup on the download for the after party they're doing. But check us out for our after party, if you will. And, check them guys out on the download.
But yeah, man, I enjoyed it, dude. I hope it goes off great. I look forward to watching it. And, and I hope it's a really good they put on a really good performance.
Yep, same here. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you guys watching. Please hit that subscribe button, if you will, especially if you're watching from Bill's channel. Give the guy some subs. I need subs, too. But help us out. Sub to both of us,
That's right. Hit that subscribe button.
All right. Y'all take care. Enjoy WrestleMania and look forward to the after show.
Later.